Hello and welcome to a brand new Toque de Football video. Real Madrid Club de Football has defeated Espanyol 2-0 in the fifth match day of La Liga de España, and they continue their perfect start under Xabi Alonso. Now, let's talk about this game because what was Espanyol trying to do today? What was Espanyol's plan in today's game? From what I saw, Espanyol came to the Bernabeu and it seemed like they were just content with trying to get at least 1 point out of Bernabeu. They haven't won there since I believe 1996, so I completely understand. But a team that is currently sitting in third place should fancy their chances a lot better against a Real Madrid rather than just completely allowing Madrid to dominate this game. Madrid's win was dominant. Let's not get it twisted. Real Madrid's win was dominant, but I think that was more so because of what Espanyol did than what Real Madrid did. Espanyol came into this game with a plan to just sit back defensively and counterattack Real Madrid. And outside of the first 5 minutes, Espanyol essentially did nothing. The first 5 minutes, they had one chance, but it was not clear cut. I think overall, throughout the game, there was no clear-cut chances in front of goal for either side. Espanyol came to play defense. They got nothing going on the counterattack, and they did well in their defensive work. They did manage to close off a lot of space for Real Madrid. I think overall they managed to keep Kike Mbappe in check throughout the game, even though he did score. This wasn't the best game for Mbappe. I think they managed to close enough spaces to prevent Real Madrid from putting more than two behind them, but you have to do a little more if you're going to try to beat Real Madrid, and especially for a team that hadn't lost this season. I was surprised to see this. I thought they were going to try to take it to Real Madrid, but they didn't. Now, I want to talk more about Real Madrid because there's a lot of talking points here. First of all, Real Madrid started with a 4-4-2 lineup with Mbappe and Gonzalo Garcia as strikers. Now, I think it was actually more of a 4-4-1-1 with Gonzalo Garcia as an actual striker and Mbappe as a loose number 10, as a loose false 9, whatever you want to call it. Mbappe was not really a striker today. I think he had a lot more to do in the creative part of the part rather than in the goal scoring part of the part. And today's game from Mbappe was not his best. Mbappe really didn't get anything going offensively outside of his goal, not because he was out of position, not because he was playing at the 10 role. I think more so because of what Espanyol was doing in the game. At the end of the day, you can only keep out the best player in the world for so long, and this is why he's the best player in the world currently. He finds ways to score goals even when he's not having his greatest game. I also want to talk about the wingers in this game. Mosantono and Vinicius Jr. were the two wingers for Real Madrid today, and neither of them actually had a great game. I think both of them had very normal games. Games where they were both very disciplined in the tactical orders. Both players were very disciplined in terms of trying to create for their team and not doing too much. And I think for Masantono, I think the reason why Xabi Alonso likes him a lot is because he is a player that is willing to do anything for the tactical work of this team. Masantono is a player that I see running up and down the field, a player that is constantly pressing, a player that is dropping back to defend, dropping back to hustle and try to win the ball back. A player that literally does what the coach asks him to do. And I think that's why he's the starting right winger for Real Madrid at the moment. Yes, he's had a couple good games. Yes, he is 100% capable of taking on players. Yes, he is 100% capable of creating chances for Real Madrid. But today he really didn't do that. Today he was just a workhorse for Real Madrid. Now, Vinicius Jr. I've been bashing Vinicius Jr. pretty much since the end of last season. Vinicius Jr. has not been at that level that we expect. He has not been at that level in that season where he got second place in the Ballon d'Or. But I see a more disciplined Vinicius Jr. A Vinicius Jr. who is not arguing about calls, a Vinicius Jr. who is not arguing about yellow cards, a Vinicius Jr. who is playing for the team and not for himself. And I think that's merit to what Xabi Alonso is doing. I think overall I see a more disciplined Real Madrid in terms of tactics, in terms of personality, and that speaks a lot about what Xabi Alonso has been working on because it's hard to control a locker room where you have personalities like Vinicius, where you have players like Mbappe, where you have personalities like Militao, and Xabi Alonso has been doing great great job with Real Madrid so far. I also want to talk about the defense because the defense was, in my opinion, the weakest point in Ancelotti's Real Madrid last season and the past couple seasons under Ancelotti. The defense, to me, today and overall throughout the season, has done a great job. I think the two center backs that are always starting, which is usually Hausen and Militao, have been great. And although today Hausen was suspended, Asensio had a pretty good game and he didn't make any mistakes like he's been used to making. So I think that bodes well for Real Madrid. Now, before we talk about Militao, who was one of the goal scorers, I want to talk about Carreras. Carreras, when I saw this signing, I was not exactly sure who Carreras was. I knew he was a left back from Benfica, but I had never heard of him. I had never seen him play. I did not expect him to handle the pressure well with playing for a club like Real Madrid under the Bernabeu. But Carreras arguably has been the best defender on Real Madrid this season. He has surprised me. He is a player who does great things on defense and who also links up very well with Vinicius or whoever's playing on the left wing, and he creates a lot of chances for Real Madrid. Not in this game, because in this game Real Madrid did struggle creating chances in front of goal, but Real Madrid find ways to win. And I think that's why right now they are perfect in the season. They showed today that even when a team is just sitting back, closing all the spaces possible, not allowing them to really triangulate any passes, any chances in front of goal, they find ways to win. And today they did it with the long range shot. In the 22nd minute, Militao, who most of us wouldn't have expected to be able to score a goal like this, unleashes a strike from about, I want to say maybe 30, 35 yards out and puts it behind Mitrovic. And now I know some people might say that Mitrovic maybe could have done better. He got a palm on it. I think overall the shot is unsavable. The ball's moving away from the keeper the whole time. And who would have expected that Militao can take a shot like this? Speaking of Militao, Militao last season was out with an ACL injury, and I think a lot of people expected Militao not to be able to return to a good level of play. But Militao has probably been at his best for Real Madrid this season, which is very surprising coming from a ACL injury. Militao, to me, has been the best center back for Real Madrid, even with Rudiger out, even with Hausen out. I think that once Rudiger and Hausen are back, Hausen should be back next week. The starting duo should be Militao and Hausen. Not because of Militao's goal today, but because of the level of play he's been showing throughout the 5 games in La Liga and in the Champions League. So I really have to tip my hat off to Militao. I was one of the persons that said that Militao was not a starter, that was not a great center back. But right now, he's probably one of the best center backs in the world, and for sure, the best center back for Real Madrid. So Real Madrid have really cleaned things up. They do look a lot more disciplined. Xabi Alonso has done great work with Real Madrid. Tactically, they look organized. They finally look like a team that know what they're supposed to play like. Defensively, they're solid. Offensively, they're constantly pressuring. Offensively, they're relentless. Offensively, even when things aren't working out, they're still attempting to create chances, and they're a lot more creative now than they were under Ancelotti. In the second half, the best player in the world showed up yet again. Kiki Mbappe in the 47th minute unleashes a very typical shot from him in the sense that his body language is the same as it would be inside the box. Kiki Mbappe has this thing where he gets the ball, he cuts inside, and his body makes it seem like he's going to curl the ball to the back post, but instead he somehow finds enough power and pace to slot a goal in the first post. Now, again, people might say that Mitrovic could have done better here, but I personally do think that Mitrovic saw the ball a little too late. I think that his defenders were blocking him, and by the time he saw the shot comes through, the shot was already past him, and he couldn't react in time. But I want to speak about Mbappe's body language because it's very interesting. Like I said, he always has this tendency to cut inside, and just the way he's opening up his body, it looks like he's gonna hit it with this instep and just try to curl it in the back post. But instead, he just powers it through first post with his instep. Mbappe, to me, is the best player in the world at the moment. He has scored in every game in the Liga so far, and he also scored in the Champions League. I believe he has 6 goals in 5 games. Mbappe, 100% the best player in the world currently. Didn't have his greatest game, but he still showed you that when he's not at his best, or at least when teams are taking him out of the game, he finds a way to punish you. And today he punished Espanyol in the 47th minute with Real Madrid's second goal. And this goal changed the complexion of the game. Not really for Espanyol, because Espanyol, even going down 2-0, they really didn't attack much. They were still sitting back and trying to counterattack. But this changed the game for Real Madrid, I think. Real Madrid were dominant throughout the whole game, but after the second goal, I think they just focused more on holding possession. And instead of being relentless in their attacks and their creativity, they decided that they were going to try to beat Espanyol with the long range shot. They had already beat them twice. So I think Xabi Alonso made a adjustment and told his players, like, hey, we can't find any ways to break down this defense. They're not going to give us any space. Let's keep trying to beat them with a long range shot. And that was essentially the whole second half. The whole second half was Real Madrid just trying to take shots from outside the box. Ultimately, that third goal didn't come through, but it didn't really matter because Real Madrid were dominant. Real Madrid had 78% of the ball. The 22% of the ball possession that Espanyol had must have came in the first 10 minutes, because outside of that, Espanyol did nothing. Real Madrid were the clear-cut dominant team, and the scoreline reflects it, possession of the ball reflects it, the stats reflect it, everything reflects it. If you watch the game, Real Madrid were 100% the dominant team here. Just one more thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about the two midfielders, Tchouaméni and Valverde. Valverde is not at the level that I expect him to be at. Valverde to me is my favorite Real Madrid player. Valverde to me has been the best Madrid player in the past 5 years, but he started the season pretty slow. I think he is not playing at the level that he should be, or at least at the level that he can be playing. I think once Valverde starts to pick it up, watch out, because Real Madrid are going to be even much more dangerous with Valverde at top form. And then Tchouaméni. Tchouaméni had a couple bad seasons for Real Madrid. Last season was not great, and the previous season I also did not think was great. But I think this has been the best version of Tchouaméni we've seen with Real Madrid, and it comes at a great time for Real Madrid. In an adjustment period under a new coach, when you have a great number 5 that helps you out in balancing your team and balancing the midfield, that's essentially the engine of the team. So I think the midfielders have done a great job as well, but I think it's mainly to credit Xabi Alonso and his work. You really do see a different Real Madrid under Xabi Alonso than what you saw under Ancelotti. Now, Bellingham did come into this game. I believe he came in the 89th minute. Not too many minutes from him coming out of a shoulder surgery and shoulder injury, but it'll be interesting to see what happens once Bellingham is able to return to the starting lineup and play a full match. Who slots out once Bellingham comes in? Because Bellingham is 100% a player that's going to be in the starting lineup for Real Madrid. That's without a doubt a question. The question becomes, who slots out? Is it one of the wingers? Will Masantono have to be sacrificed? I think Masantono deserves to be in the starting lineup, but yet then again, he is a very young player. Doesn't have the pedigree, doesn't have the seniority that Bellingham has, and with Arda Güler at a great level, I think it becomes difficult for Masantono to stay in the starting lineup. But we'll have to wait and see. That's a storyline we'll have to wait and see once Bellingham is full fit. Real Madrid, nonetheless, stay perfect. Real Madrid are first place in the Liga, and they will continue to do so regardless of what happens for the rest of the weekend. Real Madrid look a lot different under Xabi Alonso, and they look like a team that can win in many different ways. Real Madrid fans should be very excited about this season, and they should be very content with what Xabi Alonso has done. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the game. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about Mbappe's game today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.